For many modern believers, the daily routine is defined by total spiritual burnout. They wake up anxious, pray out of sheer desperation, and spend their days begging God to deliver them from their immediate trials. This creates what is essentially a valley mentality. The default assumption is that spiritual warfare is a grueling uphill slog. You stand at the bottom of the mountain, fighting against the elements, hoping to eventually reach a distant summit of victory. Yet a glaring contradiction emerges. Despite hours of intense prayer and constant striving, the needle rarely moves. The daily struggles persist, seemingly unaffected by all that effort. The issue here is a misdiagnosis. The believer possesses full authority, and they are certainly applying maximum effort. The failure stems from an ignorance of where they are actually located on the spiritual map. If you do not know your correct spiritual coordinates, you will always operate at a deficit. Trying to fight your way toward a future victory ensures you will remain exhausted and defeated today. In his letter to the Ephesians, the Apostle Paul describes salvation as a relocation. He writes that the believer's coordinates have shifted from the earth to a specific spiritual position. In this diagram of Paul's argument, the believer is in an elevated position, seated in the heavenly realms with Christ. This top node sits firmly above opposing principalities. As the structure locks into place, it reflects an objective, present reality. We experience life physically here on earth, but the text insists our physical circumstances are governed by this higher, invisible location. This creates a positional paradox. True dominion does not involve struggling your way upward from the dirt. It is authority that flows downward from an already established, elevated location. To understand how this works, we have to look at the mechanical function of sitting down in ancient contexts. The writer of Hebrews notes that Christ sat down at the right hand of God for one reason: the work of redemption was entirely finished. A king sitting on a throne signifies three things: a task is complete, authority is established, and rule is exercised. Christ's finished work transfers that exact power directly to the believer. It is a delegation of legal authority, flowing downward into an actionable mandate. Relying on your own personal strength is an invitation to failure. Operating with legal backing means you aren't straining to lift a weight. You are simply commanding obedience based on a signed decree. A believer's instructions are not to fight to achieve a victory. Instead, they are called to legally enforce a victory that has already been won. When you internalize this throne reality, your entire response to stress changes. Instead of defaulting to panic and pleading when a crisis hits, you respond with an unshakable confidence. You begin to evaluate earthly problems through a new lens. You look at a diagnosis, a financial crisis, or an interpersonal conflict, and recognize that the situation sits beneath your spiritual position. The weight of a victim mentality melts away. You stop seeing yourself as a target and straighten your posture to stand in delegated authority. Paul gives a specific instruction for this in Colossians: set your mind on things above. This requires intentionally filtering every perception through the lens of your heavenly reality until your internal perspective matches your external position. You cannot enforce a kingdom mandate while maintaining the internal monologue of a victim. The reality of dominion must take root in your mind before it can manifest in your physical life. Assuming that being seated implies passive inactivity is a common trap. Rest in this context requires deliberate, active alignment with a higher standard. Active alignment is the process of taking your words, decisions, and actions and matching them to kingdom principles. When you face spiritual friction, you are out of sync. Once aligned, the structure is fully activated and capable of bearing earthly trials. Someone operating from this posture does not negotiate with the dark circumstances around them. They speak with absolute legal backing to enforce the light. The exhausting, endless climb out of the valley is entirely unnecessary. By internalizing where you are already positioned, you can stop striving for an elusive victory and step into the dominion that is already yours.